Thank you. So, since some of you guys have been talking about gTLDs, I thought I'd come up and chat a little bit. And, I've invested in a good number of these things and have a pretty good overview of a portfolio of them. So I thought I'd share maybe some stats and some thoughts about them as we head along. So,
what's your name?
My name is Michael Berkens, and I've blogged that.
Tough crowd.
Started a few weeks ago.
How long have you been in domaining, pal? You just started?
I don't know. I'm only 30, so good chunk of the 30 years, maybe.
You didn't think you were going to get hecklers, huh?
That's okay. Not the first time. I'm married to Judy, so I still get heckled every day. It's not a problem. So anyway, so new gTLDs, it's an interesting space. I think Joe is correct. It was, again, as Rick said, the early days of domaining are coming back. There's a unique opportunity in time and space. And I think, those who, in the industry, who have the ability to apply to be a new gTLD registry, that was, a unique time and space that there's a lot of money to be made. So unfortunately, I did not do that. I tried to go a different way. So for registries, very highly profitable for the most part, although obviously there's some not so, like in any other business in the world. From the registered side, as an owner of a bunch of new gTLD domains, I'm going to give you some observations. The new gTLDs do get traffic. I don't know if you know that, but they do. Some, significant traffic, 10,000 a year or more for type-in traffic on gTLDs. So some of them make money in parking, even ones that have premium dollars, $100 or $200 a year kind of domains. An example of that would be Obamacare, Obama.care, which is making around $500 a year. I think it's $150 a year renewal. It gets thousands of visitors a year. Some other ones I have that have a lot of traffic. There's moving.company, there's bank.loans, online.dating, Atlantic.city. So, mostly what you see when you're talking about traffic and new gTLDs, it's natural phrases, things that go together, not necessarily, the most popular extension. It doesn't really matter, how many .company names there was registered. There's good names that do get traffic, and it really is irrelevant to that point how many .company names exist. So I have literally hundreds of names that get at least 1,000 visitors a year. gTLDs, totally type-in, not advertised, not marketed, not hawked on Twitter or anywhere else. So that's a good thing. There's other gTLDs that are sort of death, in my opinion, and those are the geos. The .Londons, the .NYCs, Berlins, Tokyos, all death, no traffic, zero, nothing. And in my opinion, should be sort of avoided at all costs. Unless, I've never been a guy to buy for 50 and sell for 100. Never played that game. So I'm not saying that's not possible, but that's not my play. If you're looking to sell something, for at least 4 figures, that's not going to happen most likely. When you look at gTLD sales that have taken place, you really need to separate out those that were sold by the registry and those that were sold by domainers. Because again, you're not a registry, you're a domainer, like I'm a domainer. So if you go, I think Raymond actually published something a few days ago, sort of uncoordinated, but he did, about sales of new gTLDs in 2018 and 19. And if you go through the list, you'll see most of the sales were registry sales. There are a few individual sales. I had one of the top ones in 18, which was talk.show, which seems to be used in some sort of Bitcoin-related deal. You can, I guess, type it in and you'll see what you see. So then we sold that for 50 grand. But it's just not, compared to a .com portfolio, a new gTLD portfolio is going to be expensive. It's expensive to maintain. You're subject to, ICANN's rules on the governance of new gTLDs, which basically allows for price increases by the registry on their own initiative with no oversight or supervision. And Donuts just announced a few days ago, I got a notice from Enam, that Donuts' extensions are going up effective October 1st, 2019, and depending on your relationship with your registrar, what you'll wind up paying will vary, but in general it seems to be like a 30%-ish kind of increase across the board. So it's not getting cheaper. You can lock it in if you want to pay 10 years in advance, you can. That's your right until October 1st. After that, stuff that was, in the price tier of say $17 is going to $24. That's a pretty significant increase. And of course, Union Registry did that with their extensions a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. Drastically increased their prices, and so that's part of the another downside of the gTLDs. I would say, as a GTD owner and a .com domain owner, the amount of just offers that you will tend to get on gTLDs is extremely low, like shockingly low. Like a $20 offer. Very, very few come across. So long way to go. I guess we're 5 years into it now. I didn't take 20. I'm not getting 20s.
Would you take 30?
I'm not even getting points. I'm not even getting $20 offers. Like there's no offers on really good gTLDs. Like I don't know, free.email comes to mind. I've never gotten an offer on that name. Not for $5, not for $5,000, not for nothing.
I didn't even know there was a .email extension until just.
There you go. So it's it's interesting. It's I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend it necessarily. It's overall even if you look at some of the sales, they're just so like the .media. There was Phil Harris sold the .media name for 25 or 20 grand. That was in Raymond's column the other day. But I mean, he has hundreds of them. So and they're not cheap. They're maybe $50 a year. I mean, do the math. It's a very sell like it's just not a very good business proposition, I would say, from a domainer's point of view. You have what you have. Drop some if they're not working out for you. Keep the better ones. I wouldn't advise you getting into it heavy if you're not now.